So in this video, I'm going to be taking you through my journey of starting out as a freelance web designer all the way up until now, running my own web design agency with multiple team members. And as of last month, we made about $20,000, which is absolutely insane. So I'm going to be sharing that entire journey, how much I made each year, and the lessons I learned along the way. So my journey really starts in 2021 when I was a college student studying engineering at UConn. I was not really liking my classes and I was not sure what I wanted to do with my life. And I decided to stick out the first semester, but during the summer of 2021, I really decided to go full swing into the web design business. So I started studying everything from how to build websites, what platforms to use, and I was really just starting to dip my toes in the water and figure out what I was actually going to do. But at this point, I was pretty sure that I wanted to do web design and digital marketing. So I think it's really important to note that when I was getting started in 2021, I had no skills, no experience. I had never really built a website before. Maybe I've dabbled in it, but I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know much about digital marketing. And so everything that I learned at this time, I was just dipping my toes in the water. I was also working a side job at this time, and I knew that I wanted to start my own business and make money on my own because I was not liking my classes, but I just didn't really know where to start. And so my first year was pretty slow. We started out in June of 2021, and by the end of 2021, I had made $10,000 as a freelance web designer. So by no means was this a lot of money, but it was something, and at the time it was pretty awesome to see that at least I made something through web design, but I knew that I wanted a whole lot more. So moving into 2022, I was starting to get a little bit of traction. I was starting to learn web design and feel pretty comfortable with it. But the main issue was that I didn't know how to get leads and I didn't know how to make sales. And it was during the year of 2022 that I discovered networking, which completely changed the trajectory of my business. So networking allowed me to meet other business owners, which was huge, and it also connected me with a lot of new people that ultimately grew my business and helped me get new clients, and then those clients referred me to new clients. So I really started to grow the snowball and get it going forward in the year of 2022. So at this time, I still was not sure if I had made the right decision to essentially leave college and start my own business, but I was starting to feel somewhat confident in the idea because we were starting to land a few projects here and there, and it was more consistent than ever. Now, by the end of 2022, we had made $30,000 in our web design business, and this is still not a lot of money. It's okay. It was definitely a good start, and it was motivating to see our growth from the first year, which we really only had half a year, to the second year. I think we were expecting to see more growth, but even though the numbers didn't necessarily show it, I think that we just had this idea that we were starting to learn useful skills and everything was starting to come together, especially by the end of the year. We were starting to really pick up steam, and so we were getting a lot of those projects from networking, and we were learning a lot as well. Alrighty, so going into 2023, I was motivated and I was hungry. Getting started with this year, we were earning anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 a month, which was crazy at the time because we just recently started making that in the past couple months. And so I knew this was going to be a big year, and I knew it was going to be a life-changing year. Not to mention, going into 2023 is when I really launched my own agency, Divino Digital. And so this was kind of a step up from the freelancing I was doing beforehand, and I was freelancing with my cousin as well. We ended up kind of splitting ways and going different directions, but launching my own agency and making that much right off the bat was amazing to see. One other major move that I made at this time was hiring my first full-time web designer, and this really allowed us to grow our vision and get a lot more projects done, and it was also super motivating to have another person on the team, and it really motivated me as well because it was not just me at this point, it was really supporting another person and having their support in return. So that was a massive change going into the year of 2023. By September, I hired my second full-time team member as a web developer, and this really allowed us to continue to scale. It was motivating to see the team growing, and it was also really helpful to have that extra support and to be able to handle more and more projects as we were really beginning to pick up steam. By November of 2023, we had our first $16,000 month, and we were starting to complete more and more projects each month, and not to mention we had more retainers and more website management and SEO contracts that were helping raise that baseline amount of money that we're making each month. By the end of 2023, we had made $102,000, which was super exciting and motivating because I initially did set the goal to make over 100K in this year. Alrighty, so it's currently 2024, and this has been probably one of the craziest years of my life, but not just like in a good way. It's been a roller coaster of ups and downs. So I started out this year in Cancun, Mexico. We were having a blast, quadding around, getting street food, going to the beach, surfing, everything you could think of in Mexico. And the last couple days of the trip, we were staying at an all-inclusive resort. I was drinking all day, having fun, etc., etc. Little did I know, you should not drink the water in Mexico. You have to be very careful of that. And you also have to be very careful of the food, especially fish and meat. And I was drinking pina coladas all day and eating sushi multiple times a day. By the time I got back from Mexico, I was more sick than I had ever been in my life. I was pretty much had an intense flu. I was throwing up every day. And this lasted for weeks and weeks. Actually, it lasted for months, but I didn't go to the doctor for weeks because I was so busy that I neglected to focus on my health, and I didn't even know what was wrong, but I was just hoping that it would get better on its own, and it didn't. So by the time I went to the doctor, long story short, I was initially, they thought it was some sort of parasite or bacteria, but then I ended up realizing that my stomach was really damaged from probably a combination of the bacteria and a lot of alcohol. But I made it through those probably 5 or 6 months of dealing with those symptoms every day, and I started focusing a lot on my health, focusing on my mental and physical health, so doing more exercise, eating whole foods, meditating more consistently, and I really just decided to put health first. But if you want to kind of hear that story a little more in depth, go ahead and watch the last video I made where I covered it pretty in depth. Now, while I was struggling with all of those health issues, my web design agency was making anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 a month, which is crazy because some days I could not get out of bed or look at my computer. But nonetheless, I'm thankful that I had my team, and it wouldn't have been possible without them. I'm thankful for my clients for being, supportive and understanding the situation. It's just been a crazy year. So it's currently August of 2024, and so far this year we've already made $100,000, topped what we made all of last year, and we still have 4.5 months to go at the time of filming this video. So for the remainder of 2024, I have some huge plans for how to grow my business and just for life in general. One of them is that I'm going to be spending the remainder of this year in Bali in Thailand, being a digital nomad and focusing on growing my web design agency. So by the time you're seeing this video, I will already be in Bali. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and YouTube for daily content and just keeping up to date with the trip, but also the growth of my web design agency. And I'm obviously going to be sharing any tips I have for how to grow your agency and how to become a digital nomad. On a similar note, the second piece of news is that I've decided I'm going to launch my own web design agency course, how to go from $0 a month all the way up to $10,000 a month. I finally am healthy enough and feel confident enough to launch this course. I'm going to be going into everything from how to generate leads, how to set up the business, how to fulfill projects, make sales, giving you all the resources, the checklists, the SOPs, literally everything you could possibly need to go from knowing nothing about web design to running a 10K a month web design agency that allows you to travel the world and make a lot of money. I plan on launching that course sometime in September or October, so definitely subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for that. Alright, and now wrapping up the video with some of the lessons I've learned and some of my insights. Number one, there were so many times when I wanted to quit, and the roller coaster is full of ups and downs, but I think as long as you stick with it and you don't give up, that definitely increases your chances of success. I know there were so many times that I felt like quitting and I wasn't sure if I made the right decision, and looking back on it, I'm so glad that I stuck with it to this point, because I would not have been able to make it here. Number two, you have to continue learning and invest in yourself, whether that's just books that are $10 or $20, whether that's mentors, people that are actually where you want to be. That's a huge difference as well. You could take online courses, you could read online articles. There are so many different ways to continue learning, and if you don't do that, you're really going to be hindering your growth and success, because you're just going to keep doing the same things that might not necessarily be working. And so that's been one huge lesson for me, is continue to try new things and make progress in the right direction. And lastly, just have faith and confidence in what you're doing. If you don't believe in what you're doing, then you're not going to be able to stick with it long enough to keep going. And be optimistic. Just have faith that what you're doing is going to work if you just continue learning. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos about web design and also becoming a digital nomad. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, where I'll be posting daily content, reels, and stories following my trip to Bali and Thailand, as well as about my course launch, and everything from educating you to inspiring you on how to launch a web design agency that makes $10,000 a month. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.